8 women, 1 track, and a heat that could shake up the entire women's 400 meters. Femke Bol, the Dutch phenomenon who makes this event look like her personal playground. Natalia Kaczmarek, the Polish warrior who never backs down from a fight. Cynthia Bolingo carrying Belgium's hopes around every curve. And that is just the start. Catia Azevedo, Alice Mangione, Pipi, Laura Muller, Tereza Petrzilkova, every single lane loaded with hunger and fire. Watch the intensity in these faces. Feel the coiled energy at those starting blocks. This is not just a heat, this is a statement. Who would... Catia Azevedo of Portugal in lane 9, a consistent presence on the European circuit with a personal best of 52.31. And the experience to compete at the highest level. Cynthia Bolingo of Belgium in lane 8. She has come within a whisker of breaking 50 seconds and is one of the most dangerous runners in this field. Natalia Kaczmarek of Poland in lane 7. A European champion and key member of Poland's legendary 4x400 relay squad. She owns a personal best of 50.34 and has the tactical intelligence and closing speed to challenge anyone in this heat. Femke Bol of the Netherlands in lane 6, the heavy favorite and a former world indoor record holder over 400 meters, 400 meters hurdles, and the 4x400 relay. She has been at the very top of this event for years and arrives here as the clear one to beat. Pipi of Great Britain in lane 5, trained by Olympic champion and European sprint legend Linford Christie. She brings a personal best of 51.10 and the kind of coaching pedigree that shapes champions. Alice Mangione of Italy in lane 4. The Sicilian sprinter has run 51.75 this season and carries the hopes of the Italian team as one of their most reliable performers on the track. Laura Muller of Germany in lane 3. She clocked 52.08 this season and brings solid German efficiency to a heat packed with European talent. Tereza Petrzilkova of Czech Republic in lane 2. She rounds out this stacked lineup with a personal best of 51.51. And with Femke Bol in lane 6 and Kaczmarek in lane 7, the battle for the automatic qualifying spots behind them is wide open. They are off. Every athlete fires hard out of the blocks, and this race is alive from the very first stride. Bolingo gets out sharply from lane 8 and takes an early lead on the stagger. Kaczmarek is smooth and controlled in lane 7, already settling into her rhythm. Femke Bol in lane 6 looks composed, almost effortless, as she moves through the first bend with that signature fluid stride. Pipi is working hard in lane 5, staying compact and tight. Bol and Kaczmarek moving clear. Into the back straight, and Femke Bol begins to assert herself. Total control. Relaxed, fluid, not even close to her top gear yet. Kaczmarek holds second and refuses to let the gap open. Bolingo battles hard in third on the outside. Mangione is grinding forward with real determination as they sweep into the final bend. Into the home straight, and Femke Bol is flying. She stretches away with that extraordinary composure, pulling clear with every stride. Kaczmarek drives hard for second. She wants it badly. Bolingo is right behind her. Mangione is charging in the final meters, closing the gap impressively as they barrel toward the line. Femke Bol wins. 49.82, a championship record. 49.82, a championship record. Sub 50 seconds has never been run at this competition before, and Femke Bol just made it look completely routine. Arms wide, soaking it all in. The crowd going absolutely wild. Kaczmarek takes a brilliant second in 50.34, a superb performance in her own right. Bolingo crosses in third. The scoreboard tells the whole story. Bol held the previous championship record herself at 50.37, and she has just demolished it. She's operating at a level that the rest of Europe simply cannot match right now. Watch this again in slow motion, and the quality of this run becomes even more breathtaking. Out of the blocks, Bol's reaction is sharp. No hesitation, immediate acceleration. Through the first curve, she is already the smoothest runner on the track. While Bolingo pushes aggressively on the outside, and Kaczmarek works hard in lane 7, Bol looks like she is running a training session, completely unfazed by the pace. Into the back straight, look at the arm drive. Low, controlled, rhythmic. She is not forcing anything. The speed is just there, natural and relentless. As they come off the final bend, you can see exactly where the race is decided. Bol accelerates, while everyone else has to fight to hold their form. Kaczmarek digs deep. Her technique holds beautifully, but Bol is simply gone. The final straight is a masterclass. Long ground-covering strides, perfect posture, not a single wasted movement. 49.82, sub 50 seconds, a championship record that stood at 50.37, also hers, and she has now demolished it. That is the mark of an athlete who is not just competing at this level, she's completely above it. 49.82, in a heat, with nobody truly pushing her. That's the number that reframes everything about this race. Femke Bol didn't just win Heat 1 of the women's 400 meters, she ran the fastest time in the history of this championship, broke her own previous record of 50.37, and did it while running well within herself through the first 200 meters. The race was over before most viewers realized it had started. The decisive moment wasn't at the finish line. It was at the top of the home straight, roughly 100 meters out, when Bol simply refused to decelerate. That's the thing about the truly great 400 runners. The race isn't won by who runs fastest, it's won by who slows down least. Kaczmarek was running hard. She finished in 50.34, which on any other day wins a European heat comfortably. But Bol at that point in the race was still accelerating, or at minimum holding her top-end speed longer than any other woman on that track. The gap that opened in the final straight wasn't the result of a surge. It was the result of sustained velocity, while everyone else was fighting the lactic acid clock. Technically, Bol is close to impossible to find fault with. Out of lane 6, she ran the first bend controlled and wide, letting her natural stride open up rather than forcing it. Her arm carriage is lower than textbook, but it's consistent, and that consistency is what powers her through the back straight without wasted energy. She doesn't fight the curve, she bends into it. By the time she hit 200 meters, she was already clear of Kaczmarek, who was herself already clear of the field. The race within the race, lanes 6 and 7, was essentially settled before they reached the final straight. Bolingo in lane 8 got out fastest of anyone, which is her signature move, a sharp, aggressive start that puts pressure on the stagger, but Bol absorbed that pressure without changing her own rhythm. That's composure. That's a runner who knows exactly what she's doing and exactly how much she has in reserve. Kaczmarek ran 50.34 and finished second by more than half a second. That's not a failure. That's a very good 400 meters from one of the best in the world. But it illustrates the gap that currently exists between Bol and the field at this level. Bolingo's 50.95 for third place is solid, consistent with her recent trajectory, and suggests Belgium has genuine depth in this event. Pipi finishing fourth in 51.10 is worth noting. Linford Christie has her running with more aggression off the bend than she showed earlier in her career, and that's a tactical evolution that could pay dividends in later rounds. Alice Mangione ran 51.75 for Italy, which keeps her competitive but doesn't suggest she'll trouble the top 3 in any final. Laura Muller at 52.08 is the one who probably leaves this heat with the most to think about. Germany expected more, and Muller's backstraight mechanics looked labored compared to the athletes around her. Historically, putting this in context matters. Sub 50 seconds in a flat 400 meters for a women's European Championship level heat is genuinely significant. The women's 400 world record is Marita Koch's 47.60 from the 1985 World Cup in Canberra, a mark that has stood for 4 decades. The European record belongs to that same era. Bol at 49.82 is still 3 seconds away from Koch's time, but the trajectory is what's interesting. Bol's primary event is the 400 meters hurdles. She's been running sub 52 over the barriers regularly, which means her flat 400 speed is a byproduct of hurdles training, not the other way around. For a hurdler to drop into a flat 400 in a heat and run 49.82 is the kind of number that raises questions about the ceiling. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone in the United States has redefined what's possible in the 400 hurdles, currently holding the world record at 50.65. Bol's flat 400 speed puts her in a conversation about whether she could threaten McLaughlin-Levrone's hurdles dominance if both were on form at a World Championships final. What comes next is the interesting part. Bol has entered in multiple events at this competition, which means the 49.82 was almost certainly not a maximal effort. She's managing energy across a schedule, not peaking for a single heat. If she runs a final, expect the pace to be faster. Expect Kaczmarek to be closer through 200 meters and further behind by 380, and expect another sub-50 attempt, whether or not Bol is consciously chasing it. The real question isn't whether she wins. It's whether the combination of flat speed and hurdles mechanics eventually produces something that forces a rewrite of the record books. At 24 years old, she's not close to her peak. That's the number that should stay with you, not 49.82. 24.